What sniper rifle should you be using? What's best for long-range power? What's the most versatile? What rifles work for different maps? Well, I'm here to break it all down for you. The French DLC is just around the corner, and that means new weapons are coming, but where do the current ones sit? Now, I think there's a chance we'll be seeing the French rifle added, the Lebel, and perhaps we'll be able to see by looking at the current rifles where that one will fit in. Let's get into this. So there are 6 different rifles available in the Scout class that you can use. The Martini Henry, the SMLE Mark III, the Gewehr 98, the M1903 Springfield, the Russian 1895, and the Gewehr M95. Of those 6, 5 of them have access to the sweet spot mechanic, which is a system in the game where at certain ranges the round you fire will do more damage than it would normally. This can give you an advantage, and it will allow you to one-bang players to the upper torso. Anywhere else on the body, and you won't see the full effect of that sweet spot, but you might have an easier time finishing them off with a follow-up. Let's look at each of the rifles in turn so we can see where their strengths lie. A massive thank you to Simthic for all this data. First up, we have the Martini Henry, which is everyone's favourite rifle to talk about. When the game first released, it was bugged, so hitting the player anywhere on the body, if you were inside its sweet spot range, would take them down. Now it's been fixed so that you can only one-bang players if you hit them in the upper torso or the head, but it can still be very effective in the right situation. Its base damage of 90 inside 20 meters is very impressive to begin with, but after 40 meters, you'll do 100 damage all the way out to 80 meters, making it deadly powerful at those closer ranges. Of course, you're only given iron sights to use, so you will want to focus on those closer targets, and it really suits an aggressive play style. Beware though, its bullet speed is a lot slower than other rifles, and it's a single shot weapon as well, which means reloading takes a long time between shots. Next up, we have the SMLE Mark III, and it comes in the Infantry, Carbine, and Marksman variants. Of the 3, the Marksman is the only one to use a proper optical sight, but the Carbine does have this kind of red dot sight, if you will. Now, its minimum damage is 80 out to 20 meters, and then it increases up to its maximum 100 damage at 40 meters, and then stretches out to 75 meters before slowly decreasing back down to 80 damage at 115 meters. This has got a bit more range than the Martini Henry, but it doesn't possess that higher 90 damage to start with. It does, however, come with a 10-round internal magazine, the highest in the Scout class, and its rate of fire is fairly speedy as well. Third on the list, we have the Russian 1895. This rifle comes in infantry, trench, and sniper variants, and unlike the SMLE, the trench does not share its damage stats with the other 2 options. We'll focus on the infantry and the sniper variants here, as they suit the role that we're really looking at. The 1895 reaches out a little bit further than the SMLE, starting with the same base damage of 80, but its 100 max damage sweet spot doesn't kick in until 60 meters, so this rifle will serve you a little bit better at longer ranges. That sweet spot stays true until 100 meters, where the damage decreases back down to 80 out at 140 meters. It has a slightly higher rate of fire than the SMLE and a faster bullet velocity, but it suffers from 5 fewer rounds in its magazine. It's also a lever action rifle as opposed to the bolt action that you might be more familiar with. Next, we have the German Gewehr 98, and this rifle is really one of the 2 that are suited to longer range use. Starting with a base damage of 80 out to 60 meters, its sweet spot starts at 80 meters, where it will do 100 damage from there all the way out to 125 meters. After that, the damage slowly drops back down to 80 at 165 meters. A muzzle velocity of 880 meters a second makes it a rifle you'll be less concerned about having to lead targets. The bullets fly so fast. Clearly, however, you have a large distance before the sweet spot, 0 meters to 80 meters, that you'll not be able to access that 100 damage to the upper torso. That means more reliance on a follow-up shot or your sidearm to finish a player off at closer ranges. Don't forget they might be holding an SMG, which is far better at those closer ranges, so you do need to prepare to stand your ground. Fifth weapon on the list is the M1903 Springfield, and of all the rifles that you can choose in Battlefield 1, this one is most suited to someone who likes to set up their campfire, pitch their tent, and just watch the battle rage from afar. That 100 damage sweet spot kicks in at 100 meters and stretches out to 150, making it the rifle with the furthest out potential for maximum damage. 820 meters a second bullet velocity isn't half bad as well, and that means those long range efforts will fly pretty fast all the way across the map. The sixth and final rifle for now is the Gewehr M95, the Austro-Hungarian sniper rifle, and it's the only rifle in the game that doesn't use the sweet spot mechanic, and instead it has a damage graph that's very similar to older Battlefield titles like Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. Because this rifle can't do 100 maximum damage at certain ranges to the upper torso, it rewards you for going for headshots. It also features a fast rate of fire and is the only rifle in the game as well to feature a straight pull bolt. That means you don't need to drop out of aiming down the sight to chamber another round. You can just stay looking out for targets. From these 6 rifles, we can see some are suited to closer range combat and other ones at longer ranges. The Martini and the SMLE are built to be effective as quick, high-powered weapons inside 100 meters or so. The Russian 1895 and the Gewehr M95 will favor someone who likes to operate at range but still be in touch with the combat, and then the Gewehr 98 and the M1903 Springfield are definitely your longer range choices. One thing that is important to remember, however, is even though we're talking about sweet spots here and doing 100 maximum damage to the upper torso, you are using a sniper rifle, and most of the time you like to go for those headshots. If you've got the opportunity to hit your opponent in the head, then I'd say you should go for it. Hitting them in the leg or the arm isn't going to net you that one bang that you're looking for. Sometimes an enemy might be laying prone somewhere, and that will give you more time to land a headshot, line it up properly, and think about the bullet drop, and then that way you can 100% confirm the kill. All of the rifles in Battlefield 1, if you land a shot to the head, will kill an enemy in one shot. Now, headshots can be harder to hit at some points though, and that's where the sweet spot comes in to help you take down people by hitting them in the torso. If you're looking for the most versatile rifle that you could probably use, you've got a choice of 2, I think, the SMLE or the Russian 1895. The SMLE will be slightly better at closer ranges, and it's got 10 rounds in a magazine, and then the 1895 will extend a little bit further, and it's got a faster bullet velocity, but either of them will all round give you a good damage potential. If you're looking for a rifle that will help you at long range and pull off some extremely difficult headshots, then the Springfield and the Gewehr will probably be your best bet. However, you might not be helping out your team all that much. But where would the Lebel fit in? That's the French rifle that I think will be coming in the They Shall Not Pass DLC. Personally, I can see 2 defined close-range rifles, the SMLE and the Martini Henry, and 2 defined long-range rifles, the Springfield and the Gewehr 98. But I can only really see one mid-range rifle, which is the Russian 1895. I think the Lebel could sit nicely in there, use the sweet spot mechanic, and give players another option to use as a rifle that sits on the boundaries of the action, still being effective, but definitely allowing you to play that sniper role a little bit more. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you learned something today, and if you have any comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to check out Simthic.com as well. That's where all of these stats came from. They're in the description. And while you're down there, drop me a like as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.